Alright, so today we are going to make a chicken mozzarella pasta with sun-dried tomatoes. Sounded good, so I thought I'd give it a try. First thing you're going to need is some chicken. I have mine kind of roughly chopped up. You can use chicken tenderloins as well. We're going to use that. Also going to use some mozzarella, some half and half, which people ask what that is. It's half milk, half cream. Mix that together. Some basil, some sun-dried tomatoes. I actually bought them in this jar right here in olive oil, and I just drained the olive oil. I'm going to use a little bit of that to saute some of the stuff in. Going to need some garlic, some pasta, and some paprika. So I've got my pasta water boiling right now, so we can get that started. And let's head over to the stove. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my skillet started. A couple tablespoons of this olive oil. Should be good. And 3 cloves of garlic. I like to save time and just use the already ready-made minced garlic and get this kind of going. This is a very big pan, but we're going to have to add the pasta to this later, so you want to have enough room. Turn the heat on this just a tad. I'm going to add our tomatoes. Sun-dried tomatoes. Alright, so I'm going to work on these just a little bit, saute these up a bit, get the pan pretty warm all over, and then we'll be back to the next step. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is get out the tomatoes. My garlic is definitely smelling great. I just want to put these tomatoes aside so I can cook my chicken, and I'm actually going to let these cool down for a little bit and then roughly chop them. I have not done a video in 2 years because we had a baby, and she's a little over a year now. So if you hear anything in the background, that's what that is in the background. Baby. Add our chicken. Alright, to this I'm going to add some salt and pepper. I've got some Himalayan pink salt. I really like using this salt. I'll probably add a little bit more to the dish in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add some pepper. And I'm going to go ahead and add some paprika in. Just for color. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this together. Go back to this tip. Thought I would share a cooking tip while this is cooking. And I might have showed it in some other videos, but when I am cooking chicken, if I have to cube it up or anything where I don't cook it whole, I usually freeze it first, and then I'll defrost it, but to where it's still not completely done in the middle, and it's still a little bit firm. And if you keep your chicken that way, it's so much easier to cut up when you do want to get it ready for your meal, and it'll fall out in the skillet. But just wanted to give that good cooking tip so that you know that's an easy way to cut chicken, because I don't know about y'all, but chicken can be slimy and grimy and slide away from you when you're cutting it. Alright, so the chicken is done. I have cut up these sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to add those back in. Make sure I get all of the goodness. There's my love, as you can hear. Stand by, stand by. Okay, so we've got this in here. I'm going to stir this around. By now the chicken has really sopped up all those good flavors that were in there. Now we're going to add our creamies to the dish. Some half and half, which again, this is half cream, half milk. You can make it if you're unable to find it. I'm going to turn this down just a tad. Okay. I'm going to add our cheese. We want this to come back up to a boil, and then we're just going to let it simmer, and then we're going to sit and stir for a while. I'm probably adding more cheese than what's called for, but that's how I roll. The more sauce this makes, the better. And then we have lots of leftovers. So we gotta let this all melt up together. So I'm gonna bring this back up to a boil. And then we'll be back to see how it goes. Okay, so it's definitely boiling now. Turned it down so it can kind of chillax a bit. I have drained the pasta, and what I did is before I drained it, I got a little bit of the pasta water, and I'm just gonna add a little bit to it. If your sauce is way too thick, this will help loosen it up a little bit. Plus, when we add the pasta, it'll kind of loosen up a little bit. But you could probably use up to, like, I don't know, half a cup or so of the pasta water. I also made sure that after I drained the pasta, I ran cold water over it so that it would stop cooking. So I've got that ready to go, and we'll be adding that next. I'm going to let this cook, let everything kind of marinate for a little bit. We'll be back to add the pasta. It smells great. Okay, so we've got that mixed up pretty well. Now I'm going to be adding the pasta in here. So again, I drained it, ran cold water over it. And to that, I'm also going to add some basil. And I love basil, so we're going to go to town with this. And the recipe says to go ahead and add a little bit more salt and pepper as well. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit more. Not a lot comes out when you got these little things, so sounds like a lot when I'm grinding it, but it's not that too much. A little bit more pepper. Making sure this pasta is nice and seasoned. And we're going to get this all stirred together. I will tell you what, this smells great. I'm going to get this all mixed together. We'll serve up a plate. Alright, so here's the finished product. Looks and smells delicious. Here's the fork for the taste tester. The husband. Get you everything on there. Tomato.
Well,
Is it good?
yeah, it's good.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. Tasty flavor.
Yeah, it's really good. The cream's not too heavy. The sauce isn't too heavy. And this is what's going on my floor right now.
Well, I was paid for the endorsement.
Alright, finally made another video. So there you go. Enjoy, happy eating, cooking with kids. I'm going to name that my channel now instead of Mama Mandy's. Cooking with a kid. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Piper.